What's up guys, it's Aiden and
Lucy
and
Penna.
and today our mom is going to be showing you guys how to sew the Anaheim Cloak. Molly is wearing our American Girl doll, and today we also have Penny wearing it. So if you would like to purchase this pattern, you can go to our website, and it's called RainCityPatternCompany.com. Now let's get sewing. Let's go, Lucy.
I'll see you tomorrow.
For an unlined cloak, what you're going to need will be, and all these pieces are mirrored, 2 hoods, 2 sleeves, 2 fronts, and 2 backs. If you're doing the lined version, you're going to double that. So you'd have 4 hoods, 4 sleeves, 4 fronts, and 4 backs. To begin, we're going to take 2 of our back pieces and we're going to fold them right sides together. And we're just going to line up this center here and sew from here to here. And then we're going to press the seam and we're going to top stitch the seam down. So I have my seam sewn. I used a serger. If you're using a sewing machine, you're going to want to somehow secure the edge from fraying, so pinking shears, or use a zigzag stitch. And you're just going to open it up and press the seam to one side and then top stitch it. That's if you've serged. If you've done a straight stitch, you're going to open the seam up and top stitch down each side of the seam. So for the serge, it looks like this when you're done. So next we're going to sew our front pieces to the back. So right sides together, this is right side up. We're going to put one here and one here. You're going to sew here at the shoulder seam, and then you're going to sew down the side right here. And if you're using a sewing machine, make sure that you are using something to secure that woven edge. And remember, you press your seams open. If you're using a serger, you're going to press all your seams towards the back. So with the seams done and our front and back pieces together, we're going to run a basting stitch around this neckline right here. So it's going to keep it from stretching out when we do our hood. So now we're going to want to sew our hood together. So you're going to place your hood pieces right sides together, and you're going to sew around this edge right here, and then you're going to press it and top stitch it. So my hood is sewn, and I've got my stitching around here to keep my neck from stretching out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line them up right sides together at the back seam. And then I'm just going to walk this piece around to the front and clip that in place. And the other piece. And so what I'm going to do, because this is woven fabric, is that I'm going to baste my hood on to make sure everything is lined up properly. And I'll start my basting from the center line, the back center line, and baste around this way, and then stop. And then I'll come back and start basting from here to here. And if it fits properly, I'll go ahead and I'll serge that, and I'll press my seam down and then top stitch. So I went ahead and did that on the liner, and it looks like this once it's together. So it lines up perfectly right there. It needs to have that like that, because if you're not doing the liner version, when you go to hem this, it's gonna be funky. So this needs to be a straight line from the hood to the body of the cloak. So with that sewn on, we're gonna move on to the sleeves. Keep in mind which is the front, because the sleeves, there's a front and there's a back, and just fold them right sides together. And sew down this edge right here and this edge right here. And then you're going to want to run a basting stitch from here all the way around the sleeve cap and back this way. And that's going to be so you can gather that sleeve cap slightly to ease it into the arm side. Okay, so my sleeve is sewn and I've turned it right side out. I have a bit of a little gather right here. That's just to help to ease it in. And I'm just going to insert this into this. So my cloak is right side out. You can tell because you can't see my serging. I'm just going to put this inside like this. And I'm just going to line the seams up. So my side seam with the sleeve seam. I'm going to push my sleeve seam in the opposite direction that my side seam is going to keep that from being too bulky. And now that those are clipped together, I'm going to just walk my sleeve up to where my basting is. I'm going to clip that in place. Now I'm just going to adjust that little bit of gathering to make sure that my sleeve is fit perfectly inside of my arm side. So now with it clipped like that, I'm going to sew it all the way around so that it looks like this. If you are making the unlined version, right now you're going to have to hem. So you're going to fold and press under 3/8 towards the wrong side, and then you're going to fold and press another 3/8, and then you're going to top stitch all the way around. And then you're going to repeat that on the bottom hem. So fold up 3/8, press, fold up 3/8, press, and then stitch. And you'll repeat that process also for the sleeves. Now, if you're making the line version, you're going to want to sew your liner to the outer fabric. So you're going to take your cloak, you're going to put them right sides together. So I'm turning this inside out like this. And I'm going to put this in here, and I'm going to line up, and I'm going to clip my seam at the hood. Now I'm going to walk it down to where the hood seam is, and I'm going to clip it there. And then I'm going to bring it all the way down here, and I'm going to clip it again. And then I'm going to repeat that on this side of the hood. Turn this right inside out like that. We're just going to keep clipping this right down at the hem. So when I go to sew this together, my pieces are right side together. My sleeve is right side out, or excuse me, inside out. Everything is inside out. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sew this outer perimeter of the body. So starting here at the bottom, I'm going to start here, and I'm going to sew using a 3/4 inch seam allowance all the way over, up around the hood, all the way back down, and then back to this bottom, and I'm going to leave this area right here unsewn. And I need it unsewn because when I go and sew my sleeves together right here, I need to turn my cloak right side out, and I'm going to do it through this hole. Okay, so now we want to sew our sleeves together. So this is the hood right here, right? What we're going to do is, with our cloak still inside out, we're just going to turn one of these up, just like that. And we're going to insert it into our other sleeve, lining up the bottom seam, the sleeve seam. And clipping that in place. And then repeating. I'm just going to walk this all the way around. So our sleeve looks something like this when it's pinned or clipped. I can stick my hand through it. It has formed a circle. And then you're just going to, using a 3/4 inch seam allowance, sew the sleeves together like this. Okay, so I sewed my sleeve and I trimmed the seam allowance, and this is what it looks like when it's done. So it's kind of like hugging itself at the side. So this would be the back, and this is the front piece here. And it's just a circle like that. It's kind of funky, but when we turn it right side out, it's gonna work out fine. So then we just repeat the process on this side. Turn one down, just like that. And then we're going to insert it into this sleeve so that we're right sides together. That's the goal here, to get those sleeves right sides together and not twisted. So make sure that seam is straight and your sleeve is not twisted as you pin them together or clip. So I got them clipped together, so I'm going to sew this one 3/4 seam allowance, and I'm going to trim all my seam allowances and turn them right side out. Okay, so here is the moment of truth. We're going to turn this right side out. We're going to pull those sleeves out. Pull this one out. Push your hood in. Then we're going to just push all of our corners out. And if you need to get in there to really get it a good push, you can put your hand back through that turning hole. Just push them out this way. So you're going to want to push all your seams out, and then you're going to press them and then top stitch all the way around your cloak, and you'll close up your turn hole when you do it, and then you're going to want to do it also to your sleeves. So I'm going to do that. You are now done. Congratulations if you stuck it out this long and you made the line version. Yeah, good job.